How's it going out there, everyone? W.F.S, your doctor here today. And today, well, we're going to talk about something that a few of you decided to talk about in the comment section of my last video regarding Spock's brain and whether or not that was one of the worst episodes. And some of you commented on something else, another episode. And since you've talked about it, it's time for us to have a discussion about it.
Stepping into Eden, yeah, brother. Stepping into Eden, yeah, brother.
Well, it was talked about by a few people in the comment section, so what the heck? Let's talk about the way to Eden. And you know, it has been a very long time since I watched this episode. So last night, sat down and watched it. And, you know, it was really hard to sit through this episode. It really was. For the most part, I honestly felt like this was so boring. It's amazing to me how this episode was obviously based off of the hippie movement that took place in the 1960s. According to Google, the hippie movement began to gain strong presence in the mid to the late 60s, with the 1967 making its zenith with the Summer of Love in San Francisco. Obviously, the hippie movement, and if it wasn't for the hippie movement, we wouldn't have had such a historic event like Woodstock. But still, for Star Trek to try and attract hippies to the show with this episode, I think they made a serious miscalculation here.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Could you imagine an Austin Powers type character on that episode of Star Trek? How much fun would that have been? Okay, so we all know the story. Dr. Severin has got this virus or disease he's a carrier of it. He can spread it to other people. He's not going to die from it, but he can spread it to other people, and he's taking his hippie clan off on a quest to find the Garden of Eden, and it just happens to be across the neutral zone somewhere in the Romulan Empire. So we're going to spend the next 45 minutes watching these hippies just act stupid on the Enterprise. And I mean really act stupid. Not just them, but the crew act stupid as well.
Engineering to bridge.
Yes, Scotty, what is it?
Captain, I just had to give one of those barefooted warrior columns the boot out of here. She came in bold as brass, tried to incite my crew to disaffect.
Thank you, Scotty.
So let me see if I've got this right. Kirk has people on board that are disruptors. They are causing problems throughout the ship, and rather than securing sensitive areas of the ship, he lets them roam wherever they want. And he has a problem with these people, but he still does nothing about it. Meanwhile, if this had been Star Trek, The Next Generation, Worf would have been screaming in Picard's ear about securing the sensitive areas of the ship. But Kirk seems to let them go wherever they want, and it's not the first episode that I have seen somebody come on the ship causing problems, and yet they still have access to key areas. If there's anything about the episode that has any strength to it at all, it is the chemistry between Chekov and Uhura. Two people who cared very much for each other at Starfleet Academy. She went her own way, and he went further into Starfleet. They met up again in this episode, but you could see how much that they care about each other. But at the same time, when Severin orders her to use him, she does, but still, you can see the chemistry here, and it works as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so Dr. Severin and his crew have taken control of the ship through auxiliary control. Now, I know it's not in the script, but in the story, once this happens, Kirk is desperately trying to get control of the ship back. He tries to convince members of Dr. Severin's party that Dr. Severin's insane. It doesn't work. So Spock, Scotty, and Kirk go down to the outer doors of the auxiliary control to try to phaser their way in. Dr. Severin releases some kind of hypersonic weapon on the crew, knocks them out, and they go off to a shuttlecraft to Eden. If this was truly an event that was happening, wouldn't it make sense, and mind you, this is just an opinion I have now, but wouldn't it make sense, rather than going through all this ridiculous trouble of trying to phaser your way in, you just send Scotty down to down to the engine room and have him shut off the engines, or maybe take control of the ship from the main engine room? Just a thought. Okay, so this is the part that I absolutely love the most. This planet, Eden, is nothing more than a giant poisonous trap. I mean, the plants, the grass is full of acid. Chekov touched one of the flowers and it burnt his hand. Bones does a survey or a scan of the grass and says that's even covered with acid too. When they open up the shuttle doors, you can see that Uranus' feet have been definitely damaged by the acid, which obviously means she was walking through the grass and it really scorched her feet. And you can also tell that the rest of the crew in that shuttle have had some very bad experiences since they landed on the planet. Dr. Severin is another example of how bad this place is. Look at those feet. That grass really ate right through his flesh. I mean, this is not the Garden of Paradise here. You know, the sad thing about this whole episode is the fact that you can see they were trying to tell an episode, but it was just terrible. Hippies in space, it just doesn't sound right. And the idea of them trying to find the planet Eden, well, you saw how that went for Cybok in Star Trek V. It just went just as well for these people here. It was not a good episode, and I really don't understand how they even thought Star Trek V would do a better job of telling basically the same story. I know what the bulk of you think about this episode, but still, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on it. And what do you think about that idea of having an Austin Powers type character in this episode? Do you think that could have helped it any? I honestly think that this thing was trying to say something, but I have no idea what. Drop those comments below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.